Tonight, I wish her all the best. The outgoing Mayor of Port Augusta announces his retirement, handing over the reins to Linley Shine. And a bird's eye view of the major upgrades underway in Moonta, sealing roads and connecting regional towns.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Port Augusta's outgoing mayor has wished his successor all the best. Brett Bembo was defeated in his bid for re-election by Linley Shine over the weekend, ending a career in local politics stretching almost 20 years.
Brett Bembo has spoken for the first time since his re-election bid was defeated.
Look, somebody said, are you disappointed? No, it's more than disappointment. I worked hard at what I did, and 1,500 voters decided what I did wasn't good enough and what I could do wouldn't be good enough. So that's democracy, that's how we move on. I'm very proud of what I've done.
He listed the low rate rises, steering the council through COVID, floods and creating infrastructure for Port Augusta as his highlights. But one thing is close to his heart.
Every year I used to go to every school in Port Augusta for the graduations. You know, I've been a part of the Clontarf group, which supports young Aboriginal young men very well, led by Kristen Thomas, you know, so those sort of things are very important to me. They are the sort of achievements that I like to see.
He called his successor Linley Shine when the results came through.
I'm not a sore loser. I congratulated the new mayor. I wish her all the best. I wish all the new council the best, and I hope they do great things for Port Augusta.
That was a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and thank Brett as well for all of the work that he's done for our community, for not just the last 4 years as mayor, but obviously over his period of time on council. He's done an enormous amount of work for our community.
Mr Benbow also confirmed his retirement from politics. With a career spanning almost 20 years, he says it's time to move on.
No, I've had my term. I've got in and I won, and now I've lost. So I've got a life to live now. I wish Port Augusta all the best, and I wish all the elected body all the best.
Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The upgrade of Bay Road in Moonta is nearing completion after 3 years in the works. $13 million has been poured into the project, with brand new infrastructure, shared paths and even underground power lines.
As the weather warms up, Moonta Bay is a go-to spot for locals and tourists. And Bay Road provides access through the town all the way to the bay.
Yeah, the Bay Road is almost done. It's been a long project, and there was a lot of consultation at the start to incorporate the design that the people wanted.
Taking on board feedback from the public. Bike lanes, walking paths, underwater power lines and a medium strip with trees were built, installed and planted.
When you combine all of that, it's about $13 million. And the state government are putting in about $2.189 million. The Commonwealth are putting some money in. We as a council put about $3 million into that.
Last year, Moonta was crowned the top tourist town in the state. So it makes sense to upgrade the main road in order to provide access to the beaches and popular sites such as Moonta Mines.
We're working towards World Heritage listing on that. At the present time, there's a lot going on, a lot of projects, and this is a major project that will benefit that area.
Other projects nearing completion include the stormwater upgrades on George Street and the cycling and walking trail linking Moonta to Wallaroo, just in time for summer.
Fantastic for tourism, for health, for well-being, for business, a lot happening in the Copper Coast.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
It's not long now until Santa hops in his sleigh and pays Whyalla a visit for the local Christmas pageant. The big man in red is excited to make the journey to the Steel City after a 2-year hiatus.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!
The traditional Main Street pageant that Whyalla knows and loves is returning this year to the delight of the community.
The Whyalla pageant is back this year on Saturday the 26th of November at 5 p.m. it's starting. We'll be doing the whole pageant back in person, better than the digital ones we've had to do the last 2 years.
Since 2020, COVID restrictions forced the council to hold the pageant digitally, with community groups sending in videos to be included in an online compilation. Missing the charm of the old event, Families, businesses and local clubs are coming together to make sure this year's pageant is a true return to form.
GFG and Apex are combining together to create the pageant again for us this year, which is fantastic.
Been doing a lot of work getting floats, refreshing them, and I've been doing a few upgrades, and as always Pete does a great job, makes it look great on the day, and very exciting, very colourful, and the most important thing I guess is that big fella's coming to town.
Santa won't be the only one participating. This year's pageant will be made up of the city's iconic floats, dance troupes and funny clowns.
We're looking forward. We've had quite a few from the community coming in, but also we obviously need a lot more, which would be always good. Last minute is always good.
Apex is also encouraging pageant goers to bring gifts for underprivileged children on the day and donate them to the toy run, which will be leading the pageant. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Grain Producers SA's Hottest 100 playlist is finally here, and it's been decided by grain farmers across the state. The list consists of none other than Jimmy Barnes, along with a few other Australian icons.
Grain growers had their pick of the crop in this year's GPSA Hottest 100, and it should come as no surprise as to who took out the top spot. Jimmy Barnes' driving wheel received the most votes this year, a tough feat as the team at GPSA filtered through hundreds of submissions.
So the Harvest 100 playlist is actually turned out to be very extensive. We had over 900 song submissions, and more than 60% of those were grain producers.
The extended version of the playlist can now be listened to on Spotify, with over 200 songs making the final cut.
We ended up with a song list of 100 plus about 150 in the end. We ended up doing a 250 long playlist, which goes for about 16.5 hours.
The Harvest 100 initiative was created to provide growers with some entertainment during the long hours spent on the headers. It comes as a reminder for grain producers to look after their mental health.
The initiative was really set up to engage grain producers from a mental health wellbeing point of view. So what we wanted to do was almost create a bit of a community.
The playlist includes a variety of hits ranging from U2 classics to the iconic Australian sing-alongs by Paul Kelly.
You know, in the top 10, there's a bit of everything, to be honest. We got a bit of Slim Dusty, a couple of really popular country songs have made the cut. Have You Ever Seen the Rain is in there as well.
Coming in at number 6, and for what many use this song to describe the Eyre Peninsula, God's Country.
The devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't stick around. This is God's country.
Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, a midwifery course to be held in Whyalla to help bolster numbers in the regions. And meet the Spencer Golf man who's finally found a solution to his long-time battle with connecting to the internet. Welcome back. UniSA's Whyalla campus will soon be offering degrees to help deliver the next generation of local children. With students no longer needing to travel to Adelaide to earn a Bachelor of Midwifery, it's hoped that the course will fill the shortage of midwives in our region.
Breathing new life into a space to bring new life into the world. UniSA Whyalla has transformed one of its science labs into a state-of-the-art training centre ready for a new wave of students. For the first time in 2023, the university will be offering a Bachelor of Midwifery at its Whyalla campus.
We're very excited. I think it's great for the region. There is the shortage of midwives, and certainly the rural areas feel that more than ever.
Working in a partnership with the Flinders and Upper North Local Health Network, the course will provide ample placement opportunities, helping students to easily integrate into their regional workforce.
To be able to use the clinical placements in Whyalla and Port Augusta and towards the Flinders, that would be great.
Midwifery students follow 15 women throughout their pregnancy, their birth and then their postnatal time as well. So the benefit is not just to the university and to the health workforce, it's actually for the women as well.
The new facility also features a mural from local artists. Perfectly fitting the space, the artwork is a labour of love, originally undertaken by a mother and then completed by her daughter.
The story behind it is all the mothers travelling to the communities. It came from a mother. She'd done it years ago but never finished it, so I put it up and represent her and her daughter, me.
UniSA encourages interested students to apply now.
One of the best professions, I absolutely love it, and I think that any student that comes to study midwifery would feel the same.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Having fast, reliable and affordable internet is something many of us take for granted. 2/3 of Australia's landmass currently has no mobile coverage, despite 1/3 of the population living outside the metro cities.
Since commencing in 2020, the Regional Tech Hub has received close to 100,000 requests for help. And Eric Toom was one of the callers, who has spent the last 5 years trying to achieve quality internet connection.
Every time we asked a question, we hit a brick wall. Spent dozens, literally dozens of hours on the phone, talking to Telstra, talking to NBN, talking to whoever to try and improve it, and got nowhere.
Eric had almost given up entirely until he came across the Tech Hub and shared his experience and information.
The end of May, we got a written report that listed off a whole list of things, that the issues we had and how they could be fixed.
The report included recommendations and people to contact.
We were really, really lucky, and I must admit I couldn't be more impressed. I've spoken to a few people and they've had problems, and so I said, well, go and speak to these people.
Prior to contacting the Hub, Eric was unable to watch what he wanted and missed out on online learning opportunities. November is Connectivity Month, and anyone struggling with connectivity is encouraged to visit the Hub's website. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. The Broken Hill broadcaster looking for volunteers this International Day of People with a Disability. And 2 Port Augusta footy teams battle it out in memory of a legendary police officer. Welcome back. Broken Hills Community Radio Station will be doing a special broadcast on International Day of People with Disability. 2 Dry FM want people to come forward and share their personal experiences.
It's a day to share your stories. The community broadcaster calling on Far West locals to participate in a first-of-its-kind program.
Yeah, I reckon it's, we've probably mentioned it before in other broadcasts, but this is probably the first time we've just put a package together for it.
The good news is you don't have to be a media whiz to take part. The volunteers at the station will record your story. If you're too nervous, a family member or friend can help you out.
You just got to provide some knowledge, and of course, if you've got a disability and you don't feel too comfortable, you might have a family member or a friend that may be able to talk for you.
It also won't be live to air, if that helps to ease the nerves and make the experience less daunting.
No, it's all pre-recorded, so we'll record it the next few weeks and we'll put it to air on the 3rd of December at 12 midday.
It's not only individuals that the station would like to hear from. They are also after organisations as well.
So we're also after organisations that service people with disabilities, just to get their message out, so someone can hear and say, get some information out into the community and awareness.
Adrian, who is vision impaired himself, has been with the station for 30 years and has worn many hats during that time.
Done it all, but at the moment just doing a morning program on the board and just trying to support what I can when I can.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Despite the threat of thunderstorms and hot weather, the annual Bradley Amos Shield was held in Port Augusta over the weekend. The footy match was followed by an inspirational talk by a police officer who was shot 14 times during a siege in 1994.
A muggy, stormy weekend for Port Augusta, but that didn't stop the Bradley Amos Shield match from going ahead. The children and parents warm-up game went first before South Augusta took on the emergency services team, featuring this reporter. Despite often being undermanned, the emergency side held its own for most of the game, going down to South's 8-8-56 to 6-9-45.
Yeah, the second half we actually came out. I was quite surprised about it as well too. And just starting to get a bit slow, but the last quarter we actually picked up, both of the teams actually picked up as well too. A little bit physical, but it was fun.
Absolutely. I loved watching the football matches because the winner, whether you're outclassed or whatever, today it wasn't about winning and losing, it was about just getting involved and getting community together, which was something that Bradley was well known for, just supporting the community in any way, shape or form.
This Shield match may be over, but pre-season is just around the corner. Bring on 2023. After the game, it was time for guest speaker, Police Officer Derek McManus, who spoke about overcoming challenges. He was shot 14 times during a siege in 1994, suffering severe injuries, but persevered.
The main thing I want people to believe is that they have more capacity than what they actually realise. They just need to build a little bit more self-confidence and a little bit more courage to have a crack at something and not be so worried about when they don't get it right.
South Augusta also raised money for breast cancer research. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. From netball in Broken Hill to basketball in Port Lincoln. Sports Wrap is up next. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. We're starting to get into the thick of summer sports season, but there's only a few weeks until the Christmas break. With things starting to heat up on the field, let's take a look at the scores from around the region. Joshua Mercer has this week's Sports Wrap.
Broken Hill Netball finished its final round of the regular season last week, with one team flexing its muscles before finals. United had a dominating win over West Flames Red, 44-13, to finish in second place. They will take on the Jesters in the first week of the finals. Jesters, who had a bye in the final round, finished the season as the minor premiers. In the other games, West Flames Black defeated the Divas by 15 points to secure their place in the finals, while New Kids had a 29-24 win over the last place West Flames Robins. Moving over to basketball now, and in round 5 of Port Lincoln basketball, Lincoln South defeated Rangers 56-47, remaining at the top of the ladder. Taj Bryan top scored for South with 16 points, while Max Williams was the next with 14. Bryce Marshall was the Rangers' best with 12 points. In the other game, the Sharks defeated Tasman Basketball Club 49-37. Sharks were best served by Jacob Lindner, who scored 18 points, while Oliver Sellen scored 11. Liam Cox starred for Tasman in the loss, scoring 12 points. Staying with basketball, and in Port Augusta, the Cobras were too good for the Wildcats, winning 41-29. Raiden Schmidt, Albert Nichols and Ethan Benbow all shared top scoring honours with 9 points each. For the Wildcats, Cooper Promnitz stood out in a losing side, scoring 9 points. And the Eagles defeated top of the table Titans by 14 points, 51-37. Finally, on to Port Pirie softball, and Tigers had a massive win over the Solly Cats, 22-0. The Tigers were on the wrong end of the scoreboard last week, but were able to reverse their fortunes. Paula Peterson had a strong game with 6 K2s and 4 safe hits, while Talisha Hillier and Rachel Dale-Afford starred with the bat. Solly Cats captain coach Sonia Mansfield was her team's best in a losing side. In the other game, Cougars defeated the Checkmates 7-1. Michaela Cox, Ann Russick and Brooke Waldhunter were the Cougars stars, while Sharon Combe, Kyan Beasley and Megan Schuback were the Checkmates' best. That's it for this week's Sports Wrap. If you would like your team results featured in our bulletin, please contact us through our Facebook page.
Joshua Mercer reporting there. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it's still pretty chilly.
It sure is, Maddie. Port Augusta was around 6 degrees below the November average today. Cooper Pedy was our warmest centre, 23 degrees, 22 the top in Woodner, and Clare recorded just 15 degrees today. Elsewhere, 18 in Whyalla and Broken Hill, 17 in Kadina and Adelaide, 16 in Port Lincoln. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a high pressure system southwest of the Bight is maintaining a cold southwest to southeasterly airstream over the state. On the Gulf waters tomorrow, south to southeasterly swell 10 to 15 knots and seas below a metre. Cloudy 18 in Port Lincoln and Cleve tomorrow, partly cloudy and 23 in Woodner. Whyalla heading for 18 on Wednesday, 21 in Port Augusta, partly cloudy, and cloudy in Kadina, 19 degrees over there. Cloudy and 19 in Port Pirie as well, just 15 degrees in Clare and partly cloudy and 17 in Broken Hill. Taking a look at Thursday's outlook, blue skies and 30 degrees in Woodner, sunny and 27 in Port Augusta, 26 in Port Pirie. It's looking like a muggy end to the working week. Showers and 34 in Cooper Pedy on Friday, possible storms in Woodner 21, and finally showers across most of the Spencer Gulf on Saturday, temperatures between 21 and 31 degrees. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And just before we go, let's take a look at how our reporters' Movember efforts are going. This is the 2-week check-in with Henry, Eddie and Daniel. And as you can see, there's been some questionable developments. Movember is a charity event raising money for men's health issues. If you'd like to donate to our reporters, head to our Facebook page and look for the pinned post. We'll check in next Tuesday with Week 3's progress. But that's all the news this Tuesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.